Good evening, dear students. Today we have part 2 of our lecture tenses. Let's start with Unit 9, Present Perfect Continuous. As we said last lecture, that the first job of our each lecture is to deal first with the structure of the tense. Now, this is the present perfect continuous. The structure is subject plus have or has according to the subject plus been plus do plus ing. Dear students, let's deal with the example situation. Is it raining? No, but the ground is wet. It has been raining. According to this structure, this is the present perfect continuous. It has been raining. What about the function of this tense? We use the present perfect continuous, dear students, for an activity that has recently stopped or just stopped. What does that mean? That means, for example, according to the example situation which is given, the ground is wet. Means that there are certain results, there are certain evidences that there is an activity that has been taking place. So, what about this activity? This activity has just stopped or recently stopped. In 2, for example, or B, it has been raining for 2 hours. Another example situation is given that it is raining now. It began raining 2 hours ago and it is still raining. So, dear students, in this respect, let's have a conclusion that the present perfect continuous is used for activities that have just stopped or recently stopped, or sometimes to give the idea that the action has started before and it is still continuous until the time of speaking. But the most important thing, dear students, is to understand that with the present perfect continuous we talk about an activity regardless that this activity has ended, has finished or not. The important thing is that I am focusing on this activity, that it has been happening. Someone has been doing this activity. We will see, dear students, in the next unit that the writer of the book is concentrating or devoting this unit to compare between present perfect simple and present perfect continuous, and we will see this later. Look, what about C? In this unit we have the author to compare between the present continuous, see, present continuous, and the present perfect continuous. I am doing and I have been doing. With I am doing, with the present continuous, we are concentrating on now that I am in the middle of the action. See, for example, don't disturb me now. I am working now at the time of speaking. What about I have been doing, present perfect continuous? Look at the diagram. Now is as if according to the present perfect continuous. Now, yes, could be included or could not be included. I have been working hard, so now I am going to have a rest. I have been means recently or before a particular period of time until now. Until the time of speaking, I have been doing this particular action of working. Now, Unit 10, dear students, is focusing on a very important comparison to answer a very important question, that what is the difference between a present perfect continuous and present perfect simple. In what sense, for example, that since I have a present perfect simple to talk about the action that started in the past, finished in the past, and there is a connection with now. Why do I use a present perfect continuous? What is the difference? Dear students, the difference between present perfect continuous, that with the present perfect continuous, the action started, yes, in the past, it has just stopped or recently stopped. What else? The important point is that the speaker is interested in the activity, regardless, or it doesn't matter whether something has been finished or not. For example, look at this lady in the diagram, in the example situation. Her name is Zan, and the clothes are covered in paint. She has been painting the ceiling. Look, she hasn't finished painting the ceiling yet. But however, I'm using the present perfect continuous. Why? Because I am interested in the activity itself, that it has started recently. And it could be, for example, for the doer or the subject of the action could complete this action later, but I am interested in the activity. What about the present perfect simple, dear students? Look at the ceiling, the action. The action has finished. It has completed. That is why with the present perfect simple, the speaker is interested in the action to be completed, to be finished before the time of speaking, and I am interested in the result of this action. For example, here the important thing is that something has been finished, has painted, is a completed action. We are interested in the result of the activity, not the activity itself. This is very important. See? Some more points to compare. For example, with the I am in B, dear students, we use the continuous to ask or say how long, see, for an activity that is still happening. For example, how long have you been reading that book? How long? Look, the WH question item which is used is how long. What about present simple, present perfect, simple? We are interested in what? We use, for example, how much, how many. Why? What is the difference? Because with how many and how much, I am interested in the completed result. For example, how many pages of the book have you read? See? Not how long have you been. With how long have you been reading, I am interested in the activity of reading. I don't care about the result. What about when I ask how many, okay, how much, etc.? According to the example, pages are countable noun. How many pages of that book have you read means I am interested in the action to be a complete action. Okay? Now, if we move to 11, what can we see here? We have 11 to be no more than a revision to the previous units. In what sense? For example, some more examples about the way I use the present perfect continuous. Some more examples about how I use this particular WH question item, which is how long. For example, they have been married for 20 years. They have been married. This means what? It means that if I want to ask about this action, the period they have been married is, the suitable WH question item is how long. How long have they been married? Present perfect. See? We use the present perfect to talk about something that began in the past and still continues now. See, compare the present and present perfect. Here we have certain comparison between present simple and present perfect. She has been in hospital since Monday. We know each other very well. Here we have a comparison between present perfect simple and present simple. What about B? I have been doing something, present perfect continuous. It started doing something, I started doing something in the past and I am still doing it, etc. So what I have just told you, that in this unit we have a revision to the previous units we dealt with before. 12, dear students, teaches us more about the way I speak, the way I use the present perfect and the present perfect continuous. In addition to the difference with the past simple. Look at the title in 12. When, WH question item. How long, again a WH question item, in addition to the comparison between for and since. Let's see. Compare when and how long. Look, when, past simple. How long, present perfect. So when, it is a WH question item that I use to make a question about the past simple. How long, a WH question item I use to show an example, rather a question about the present perfect. Look at the example. When did it start raining? When did it start raining? Look, did it, past simple. Look at the WH question item I have used is what? It is when. It started raining an hour ago, at 1 o'clock, etc. Look at the other example. I'm using how long to ask. Why? Because the sentence is in the present perfect. Present perfect. How long has it been raining? It's been raining for an hour or since 1 o'clock, etc., etc. Now we have understood the difference between the way I use when with past simple and the difference between how long, which is present perfect. Generally, present perfect continuous. In B, we have a nice comparison between the way I use for and since. For example, when I say Sally's been working here for 6 months. For 6 months. I am reading the last example in the diagram. Sally's been, this is, dear students, is the abbreviated form of has. Sally has been means Sally has been working here since April. So look here in the first example I have used for, in the other I have used since. What is the difference between for and since? Let's go back to the beginning of the diagram. We use for when we say a period of time. For both of them with periods of time. See? 2 hours, 6 weeks, etc. I have been waiting for 2 hours. So when I give the whole period of time, see, the whole period of time, for example, I have been waiting for you 2 hours. I haven't mentioned since when I have been waiting for you. Since when? When is the starting point of the period I have been waiting here. But with since, this happens. Means we use since when we say the start of the period. For example, I have been waiting since 8 o'clock. Means count. How many or how much time, since when have I been waiting here? You can count since 8 o'clock until now. See? But with for, no. I am giving you the whole period of time I have been waiting for you. Here we have some details, dear students, about sometimes I can use for, sometimes I can omit it. Actually, I am not interested in such details. Just please, if you can, have a look at them. I am interested in the most important points, structures, functions in the units. There are certain details that really I don't care of. Just, if you like, have a look at them. Unit 13 is very important, actually. It gives us the way we need to understand to differentiate between present perfect and past. In the last lecture, I told you about such mixture or such confusion that could take place between the way we can understand and use the present perfect and past simple. By the way, we have this comparison to be shown in unit 13 and unit 14, the next unit. So why do you think we can make, or we can be confused of the way we use present perfect and past simple? Because their students, they are really sometimes similar. Why? Because with the present perfect and past simple, both of them, we speak about an action that took place in the past, started in the past, happened in the past, and finished in the past. But with the present perfect, I am interested in the result of the action. With the past simple, we don't need to show the result. I am interested in the action as something that happened and finished. See? Look, here the traditional example of showing the present perfect and past simple is here. Tom is looking for his key. He can't find it. He has lost his key, present perfect. This means that he doesn't have this key, or sorry, his key now. I have to show the connection with, we have to say the connection with now. What about the other 10 minutes later? Now Tom has found his key. He has it now. Look, has he lost his key? Present perfect. No, he hasn't. He has found it. Did he lose his key? Past simple. Yes, he did. Sorry. So, just like I am giving you the conclusion there, students. I'm giving you the conclusion. Here is the point. The present perfect is a present tense. It always tells us something about now. Means what about now? Not as a present continuous. No, but as the connection, as the result that I need to understand and feel now. Tom has lost his key. He doesn't have his key now. The past simple tells us only about the past. See, if somebody says Tom lost his key, we don't know whether he has it now or not. We only know that he lost it at some time in the past, as an action that really happened in the past. See? With be, do not use the present perfect if there is no connection with the present. I said this. See? Generally speaking, we use the present perfect to give new information. Look at the example. Oh, I've burnt myself. I've cut my finger while I was cutting, for example, meat, etc. So I need the present perfect to give a new information, to announce what has just happened. See? Generally, just like what I told you, I have mentioned all of those points even in the last lecture. Now, let's see what's going on in the other unit that shows us the difference between present perfect and past. Unit 14. I have done and I did. What's happening here? Do not use the present perfect when you talk about a finish time. We said this. Finish time means, for example, yesterday. I have this expression, yesterday, to show that it is something, everything that happened in yesterday. What do you understand? That really happened, previously happened and finished. It is over, etc., etc. What if I want to express in 1985, when I was a child? All of those expressions, dear students, refer that I am talking now about certain previous actions happened in the past. There is no connection with now. That is why I have to use the past simple. Look at this comparison. Present perfect, past simple. Tom has lost his key. He can't get into the house. Past simple. Tom lost his key yesterday. Look, he couldn't get into the house. What does that mean? That means if I have a situation and I have understood that I have to use the present perfect, dear students. So what does that mean? I'm using not only the sentence that shows this is the present perfect. By the way, here the comparison is connected not only in the function but with the structure. that not only the sentence to be in the present perfect, I have to take care of every other detail inside the situation. He can't get into the house. Why I'm using can't? Because I want to show that at the time of the speaking, the connection with now, he cannot get into his house. What about past simple, the example that I have just read? See, Tom lost his key yesterday. He couldn't get into the house. Couldn't, because I'm referring to yesterday, etc., etc. Compare present perfect and past. Again, here we have a diagram with some more examples to show the idea that I have just spoken about. Now, if we move to 15, dear students, we will find that there is another nice tense to be understood, which is past perfect. Okay, past perfect is very nice tense. What's so special about past perfect? Because as if it is certain mixture between present perfect, I mean the way I have to analyze it and to understand it, as if I have the past simple on the one hand and the present perfect on the other. Means what? I am to understand it with certain really concentration. Look, as far as the structure is concerned, what is the structure? What is the rule of past perfect? It is I had done. Means subject, whether I, he, she, it, etc., plus had, not have or has. Those were with the present perfect. Had, my only choice. Plus done, past perfect or past participle form of the given verb. Look at the example situation. Really, it is very important. Sarah went to a party last week. Dear students, look at the picture. The picture is really important in here. Why? It shows us the way we understand past perfect. At 10:30, the first picture, we have Paul to leave the party. He left at what? At 10:30. He left, saying bye. Look. Okay. What about the other picture? The other picture, sorry. Sarah arrived. Look, I'm using the past simple. Arrived. Paul left. Sarah arrived. Paul left. Sarah arrived. Paul left at T. See? While Sarah arrived at 11. See? At 11. Half an hour later of Paul's leaving. Okay. So there was, look at the example situation, there was a party in the past, a situation, all of it happened in the past. Now I don't have any connection with now or the time of speaking. All of the situation with the past perfect happened in the past. What else? In that situation which happened in the past, there were, look, I'm using the past, there were two actions happened separately. Happened, if I talk about them without referring to the connection or sequence of time between them, I'm talking about them separately. With each one, I should use the past simple, saying, what are those actions? They are, Sarah arrived, Paul left. Sarah arrived, Paul left. Paul left, past simple, the past of leave. Sarah arrived, past of arrive. Sarah arrived. Where is the past perfect? Where is it? How can I express it? How can I understand it? Look there, students. In the past, where there were two actions, I am to deal with the first action according to the sequence of time, the first one to be the starting point. We call it the starting point. Everything happened just before the starting point of that story will be expressed by the past perfect. Again, in the past I have a situation, all of it happened in the past. There should be more than one action. Both of them or all of them had to be when in the past. Okay. The one happened other or after the other. The second action, according to the sequence of time, according to our situation, which is Sarah's arrival, the action that happened later, will be considered to be the starting point of the action. everything happened, or the first action happened before the starting point, will be considered or expressed by the past perfect. Look, Sarah went to a party last week, past. Paul went to a party, or to the party means the same party, too. But they didn't see each other. Paul went home at 10:30 and Sarah arrived at 11 o'clock. So, when Sarah arrived at the party, Paul wasn't there. He had gone home. See? So he had gone home is the past perfect. He plus had plus gone, past participle, plus home. See? The past perfect simple is had plus past participle, etc. for the list of irregular, see, etc. This is not of our business today. We talked about this, regular and irregular verbs before. Sometimes we talk about something that happened in the past. Sarah arrived at the party. This is the starting point of the story. Then, if we want to talk about things that happened before, look, before Sarah's arrival, before the starting point, or before the second action, everything will be expressed by the past perfect. That is the past perfect. Look, here we have certain nice comparison between past perfect on the one hand and the present perfect on the other. Look, have done is the present perfect. Present, we have the connection to be with now at the time of speaking, while with past perfect I have the action to be when. I have the past perfect, I mean, to happen in certain time in the past just before another action. All of them or both of them happened in the past. Look at now, it is this included, it is not available in past perfect. We don't have any reference to now. Last job of our lecture today is unit 16, past perfect continuous. I had been doing. What about the structure? It is I, which is the subject, or he, she, etc. plus had. Again, I don't have any other choice. I don't have or has. I used to have and has with the present perfect or perfect continuous, plus been plus verb plus ing. So again, this is the structure. When and how I could use the past perfect continuous. Just like the way their students, I understand the present perfect continuous. But the only difference is that with the present perfect continuous, I use it to express that there is an action that has just stopped or recently stopped, or could be continuous until the time of speaking, or in addition to that, that I am interested as a speaker, I am interested in the activity itself, regardless, or it doesn't matter whether this action has ended, has finished or not. This is the present perfect. By the way, I'm repeating myself. I mentioned this. Now, what about the past perfect continuous? The past perfect continuous the same, but in the past. Means what? Means at a particular time in the past, look, in the past, the connection is to be with a particular action in the past. There was another action that had, look, I'm using had to show that I am in the past, that another action had just stopped or recently stopped, and that the speaker was interested in the action itself, not the completed action, not with the result, regardless whether this action has ended or not. Let's see the example situation. I mean, yesterday morning, look, yesterday, the situation is in the past. I got up, past simple, and looked out, past simple, of the window. The sun was shining, past continuous, but the ground was very wet, past simple, was. It had been raining. It had been raining. Means what? I'm using past perfect continuous. Why? To show that at the time of speaking yesterday, when I woke up, when I looked through the window or looked out of the window. See, it had just been raining. It had been, look, means rain had just stopped or recently stopped, and even it couldn't have what finished yet. Still raining could be at that time when I woke up and looked out through the window. Okay, a nice comparison is given between present perfect continuous and past perfect continuous. The same, dear students, as I have just spoken about this. I'm not going to explain, rather to show you the example which is given. I hope the bus comes soon. I have been waiting for 20 minutes before now. Means the connection here is with now. What about past perfect continuous? At last the bus came. Look, past. I had been waiting for 20 minutes. Means at that time when I was waiting for the bus. Have you seen, dear students, the last point, which is always given with the continuous forms, that be careful about some verbs that, for example, now, want, etc., they could never accept the continuous form. I cannot say I am wanting. I cannot say I am, for example, knowing, or I have been knowing, or I had been knowing. Be careful. This was the last point in our job of today. I hope that you have understood. Thank you very much.